The impact of the Trump-Zelensky trade war on small business and family life. What does a global trade war have to do with a father's collapse, a family's financial ruin, and the silent erosion of a small business? More than you think. We often view world politics as something happening far away, decisions made in conference rooms, broadcasted on the news, discussed in corporate boardrooms. But for millions of people, those decisions have a profound, devastating impact that isn't just felt in the market. It's felt in the living rooms, the kitchens, the everyday lives of people trying to make ends meet. This isn't the story of a distant country suffering from economic instability. This is about how a conflict, a trade war between two powerful nations, sends shockwaves through a quiet, unsuspecting family. A family that never imagined that political tension could wipe away everything they had. In a world dominated by interconnected economies, the slightest change on the global stage has a ripple effect. Consider this: a small business owner trying to run a modest operation in a local town relies on supplies from international markets. Suddenly, new tariffs are slapped on imports. The cost of doing business rises. What once cost a few $1,000s now costs tens of thousands. Prices spike, and the margins that kept his business afloat start to shrink. He's forced to make cuts, first with inventory, then with his employees, and eventually with his own paycheck. But it doesn't stop there. What does a man do when the weight of financial instability becomes too much? He begins to lose control, not just of his business, but of his mind. The fear of losing everything becomes a constant, creeping presence in his life. And the more the days drag on, the more he turns to something that numbs the pain: alcohol. It starts innocently enough, just a drink after a long day. But soon, that drink turns into a bottle, and the stress he cannot escape bleeds into his personal life, his relationship, his sense of self. This is not just about a business in decline. This is about the slow, steady unraveling of a life once secure, now held together by little more than thread. His wife, who once felt safe and stable, is now trapped in a constant cycle of worry. The children, seeing their father deteriorate, can only watch in helplessness. The man, the father, the provider, has become a shadow of the man he once was. He's lost control over his business, his finances, and now, himself. What happens next isn't just about the impact of a trade war, it's about the human cost of such geopolitical struggles. For many, global economics feels like an abstract force, a distant issue for diplomats and leaders to handle. But for those on the ground, the consequences are raw and personal. The ripple effects of that trade war didn't just impact stock markets. They left a family broken, a man desperate, and a business struggling to survive. But as the family falls apart, there is a glimmer of something unexpected: resilience. While the business may collapse, while the financial security may slip through their fingers, what's left is a determination to move forward. The wife, tired and overwhelmed, reaches out for help, seeking support from a network of others who understand what it's like to lose everything, and slowly, the father begins his own journey of recovery. It's not easy. Sobriety doesn't come overnight, and the scars of financial ruin don't heal quickly. But the family begins to rebuild piece by piece, not through wealth or possessions, but through strength and the shared will to survive. The truth is, a trade war is not just about economics, it's about people. It's about the faces behind the numbers, the lives behind the headlines. What happens on the global stage affects us all, even if we can't always see the full impact until it's too late. The family in this story doesn't care about tariffs or trade balances. They care about their survival, their dignity, and their ability to recover. And that's the real cost of political decisions made in distant capitals. It's not just about numbers, it's about lives. This family might have lost everything material, but in the end, they discover something far more important, that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, the human spirit is capable of bouncing back. What the world sees as a distant struggle, this family experiences as a deeply personal tragedy and triumph. The trade war may have shattered their financial world, but it never destroyed their will to rebuild. In the face of crisis, resilience is the ultimate currency. The question is, when it happens to you, when global decisions ripple into your life, how will you respond? How far can your own resilience take you before the weight of the world threatens to crush you? This isn't just a story for one man or one family. It's a story that could belong to anyone. The global political stage may seem far away, but its effects are deeply personal. What happens when you're faced with a choice? Fight or give up? For this family, their choice was clear. They fought, even when they had lost everything else.